all right, we got some uncomfortable conversations that we're gonna have to have. Okay. This is just the reality. So Hershey's, I guess, the chocolate bar of all people, it's International Women's Day, or in honor of International Women's Day, they posted this bizarre ad, right? With some bizarre ad here, and or had a person that was a part of this ad, and I'm just gonna show y'all it, and then we're gonna discuss it. I'm gonna be completely honest with you too. This might hurt some feelings, but hopefully people understand what it is that I'm trying to say here. But this is what you got.
My name is Faye Johnstone. I'm the executive director of Wisdom to Action. We can create a world where everyone is able to live in public space as their honest and authentic selves. See the woman changing how we see the future at Hershey's Canada.
Now, obviously, that is a man. Okay, let's just call it what it is. That is a that is looks kind of like James O'Keefe. That looks a lot like James. Anyway, it's not James O'Keefe. It's a joke. Shout out to James O'Keefe. Hopefully he's doing well. Nonetheless, I'm not sure why that's even audible right there. But anyway, so Faye Johnstone is some advocate. What did the fuck? Wait a minute. What is this? Y'all see that? Y'all can't see the whole thing. But check this out. It reads 2S LGBTQIA. What the fuck is the 2S? Anyway, so let's just elephant in the room. Elephant in the room. It's ironic that you have this, of course, because you have a person that's not let's say born a woman, right, and is now kind of being presented as like this face of this women's kind of movement. And I saw a lot of women were pissed off because they're like, they look at it like women as a erasure. They look at it like all that. And that's certainly on them to defend themselves in that regards. But I will say this, and this is the part that's going to make people uncomfortable. The scene got set up for what it is. So no matter where you're, because I'm a libertarian, right? I'm all for people being able to do, like the issue here isn't like an issue of legality, right? This is all cultural, right? So this is outside of this sort of libertarian spectrum because, do whatever you want, but you got stupid people, especially leftists, who think that, well, just because you're against something someone does means you want it illegal for them to exist or some other dumb shit that they present. That's not what we're discussing here at all. The bottom line is the irony of it all, that this is a person that was born with the goods that I have. That is basically looking at it like it's on International Women's Day, presenting themselves as a woman and talking about basically this experience that they, if you think they have it, whatever. That's not the point of the video. The point of the video, though, and the point of rather the point that I want to make with this whole deal is that this is something that y'all facilitated. And I think this is the part that doesn't get talked about enough. Women have absolutely it makes all the sense in the world that there are going to be those women that are going to be very passionate about this subject. On the other hand, women are the ones that are presenting this, that have cultivated kind of this culture, that are usually authorizing this stuff, that are usually as white leftist women. But that's the honest to God's truth. By all statistical metrics, even in terms of what they support, by all polling metrics, I know polls not always accurate. It tends to be women that are the ones that are promoting and pushing this whole gender, all of that stuff. That's just the honest to God's truth. So I think in this case, same thing it did with the athletics, is that it comes full circle. So when we talked about the Leah Thomas situation, it was the same thing, right? Where it comes full circle. And it's like, well, now you have something that you've advocated that is now destroying the sanctity of maybe like a sport that you were participating in that was more designated for your young women. And now you got again guys that, because Leah Thomas is a goddamn tank, like as in build, like a fucking tank. And now you have somebody like in that case taking it to the, all the way to the national level in terms of athletics and actually winning. And despite being born with the goods that they're born in, and obviously having what I deem certainly as an unfair advantage. But I think that's what this is that it all came full circle. And now it's like starting, of course, to impact really yourselves. And I think that part has to get discussed more. And look, y'all don't need me to tell y'all this, but you got to be louder. You certainly got to be more against this type of stuff. More so at the ground level. Now it might be too late, in the sense that, not too late that it can't turn around. That's not what it is that I'm saying. That I'm saying that largely women that have committed to this narrative, they're all in. They've made it abundantly clear, and they're too far. So it gets more and more outrageous because they're all in on it, or all the way in on it, and it's like, well, where do you turn from this? Right? So you can't be. They're going to have to speak up. This is a problem. One of the problems that I think a lot of women, if it's going to get solved, it's going to be by other women. Because other women, whether you feel that they're your allies or not, cause the shit. Let me just be completely honest. Like, that's not to say that there aren't dudes that are like advocating this stuff. That's not what it is that I'm saying. I'm saying at the forefront of this stuff is women, the ones that are authorizing this stuff. And then when you said, historically speaking, the people that have been leading the charge against this type of stuff, more so in terms of how it impacts culture, it's been men, right? So that's a dynamic that I think that it's weird, because corpos are going to continue to appeal to these types because, well, those people are in the positions of marketing power, of giving them all the bad advice. But on an honest note, women are going to be the ones that solve this issue. If it's going to get solved, it's going to be by women, because that's what caused the problem. This is more something that's identifiable with you, and we're seeing it a lot more now. A lot of women are being very vocal. A lot of, particularly parents, right? Definitely in how it's impacting sports, are being a lot more vocal, and you're gonna have to be louder than what it is you are. Think about this, and I'm gonna end on this note. You remember when the whole Leah Thomas situation happened? And this goes to show just how insane it is that I think it was Outkick. I think Outkick was the platform where you had a lot of anonymous swimmers, teammates of Leah Thomas, if I'm not mistaken, that were talking about how they felt uncomfortable, but they did it anonymously. You know why? Because they are more scared of the backlash of possibly, this is how powerful this movement was, two SLGBTQIA plus movement. This is how insanely powerful that they've gotten, that they have y'all scared. You'd rather your sport be destroyed, not putting your name to fighting against it. You'd rather your sport be destroyed than be called a bigot or a transphobe. Think about that. Let that sink in. That's worse to them. That's worse. Being associated with, because that's all that would happen. If you came out and was against it, people would just, of course, the same weirdos will call you transphobe and all that. You're more scared of that than you are your sport. You rather your sport be destroyed. So that in itself is an attitude that has to get fixed, certainly among things that like are directly impact, because it's not impacting men's sports, for example. Like, you're not gonna see some woman become trans and dominate, like become a man and then dominate. That's not how it works, right? So this is your sport that, and your cultures that are at stake here. This problem is going to be solved by other women, and I think it can be. I think you're starting to see people be more vocal with it, but this ain't gonna come from anybody other than women, and it's gonna have to be some self-checking going on, certainly, because holy crap, when you see who are at the forefront of these movements, it's other particularly white leftist women, though not exclusively, but for the most part it's led by women. So that's who's gonna fix it.
Wherever you're viewing the content, I appreciate you. If you enjoyed it, you may be interested in my comic book company, Rippaverse Comics. Our first book and campaign, ISOM #1, brought in $3.7 million with tens of thousands of satisfied customers. Visit Rippaverse.com to check out our store and stay up to date with the latest campaigns from one of the hottest new comic book companies. Also, my first big step towards a parallel economy was the development of my personal website, ericdjuly.com. This entirely replaced my Patreon. Now, if you enjoy this content, please consider becoming a member over at the website. We have an ever-expanding list of perks for various membership tiers, a forum, and a phone app. Some of these perks will even benefit you if you're fans of the Rippaverse. Anyway, I appreciate you so much for being a supporter and or customer. I even got a little love for my haters.